You might think you know Agnetha Faltskog, the legendary ABBA singer, but the reality of her life today is heartbreaking. In this video, we uncover the hidden struggles and silent pain behind the superstar everyone once adored. From relentless media scrutiny to a life of self-imposed isolation, the story of Agnetha's later years is more haunting than you could imagine. Before we dive in, take a moment to pause, breathe deeply, and let yourself truly feel what you're about to discover. When people hear the name Agnetha Faltskog, most immediately picture a dazzlingly successful woman admired for her beauty and extraordinary musical talent. Thousands of fans were completely captivated by her, longing not only to emulate her, but even to spend a single day in her presence. It seemed like a life of glamour and endless adoration. This video delves into the dark chapters of her life, the extreme sexual objectification she endured, the continual underestimation of her talent, and the pressures that ultimately drove her to retreat from the public eye. These are the factors that forced one of the world's most beloved pop icons to embrace a life of solitude, away from cameras, crowds, and the relentless pace of fame. At 74, Agnetha's world is profoundly quiet. She now spends her later years alone on a secluded farmhouse on the island of Ekaro, a reality confirmed by multiple sources. Close friends and family describe her as reserved, introspective, and deeply private, a stark contrast to the vibrant performer adored by millions. For those who grew up inspired by her energy and presence, this image of Agnetha's isolation is especially poignant. Her retreat from the spotlight has sparked endless media speculation, which only added to the intrigue surrounding her life. After years of silence, she made a rare television appearance after 17 long years, leaving fans and the public to wonder, why did she step away in the first place? Though she has publicly expressed contentment with her quiet life, many believe there is more to her decision than a simple desire for peace. For someone whose life was spent under constant scrutiny, stepping back from the public eye required careful thought, and likely a deeply personal reason. To understand that reason, we need to look back at her time as an ABBA superstar. Many of the traumas that shaped her later life can be traced to her experiences during those years. The relentless pressure, coupled with intense media harassment, left an indelible mark. Throughout her career, Agnetha faced overt sexualization and objectification, experiences she herself has openly acknowledged. The media's dehumanizing treatment contributed heavily to her decision to seek seclusion, illustrating the immense personal cost of fame that fans rarely see. While Agnetha Faltskog was celebrated worldwide for her beauty and extraordinary talent, quickly becoming an icon of pop music success, her public image was far from flawless. One of the darkest shadows cast over her fame was over-sexualization, something she never sought, never encouraged, and certainly never welcomed. During ABBA's meteoric rise in the 1970s, the media became obsessed with Agnetha's appearance, often overshadowing the incredible musical contributions she made to the group. Her voice was undeniably powerful, her presence magnetic, yet the spotlight frequently shifted away from her artistry and toward her physical appearance, her figure, her blonde hair, her every curve. Interviews, press articles, and countless fan commentaries rarely focused on her creative genius. Instead, attention fixated on how she looked rather than what she created. Music videos, photo shoots, and public appearances seemed designed to emphasize her body. Close-up shots of her curves were routine, leaving her feeling exploited and exposed. This objectification didn't remain confined to magazines or television. It seeped into her everyday life and public perception. Agnetha often received disgustingly inappropriate letters and messages, becoming the subject of unhealthy fantasies. In the eyes of many, she was reduced to a sexualized symbol, rather than recognized as a full, talented artist. Agnetha herself openly expressed discomfort with how much focus was placed on her appearance. Yet, as a key member of one of the world's most successful pop groups, she had little to no control over the narrative surrounding her. The intrusion was relentless. In one notorious interview that later went viral, a journalist had the audacity to ask her whether she was indeed the lady with the sexiest bottom, a question so grotesque it drew public criticism. Germaine Greer, author of The Female Eunuch, later remarked that such inappropriate behavior was sadly unsurprising. People preferred to interrogate Agnetha about her looks rather than the music she had worked tirelessly to create. Even Kinga Marie Halling, ABBA's costume and makeup manager, expressed how wrong it was for anyone to be reduced to a single body part, emphasizing the inhumanity of such treatment. It's almost impossible to imagine what it felt like for Agnetha to endure such relentless objectification. As ABBA's fame grew, so did her unease with the spotlight. She became increasingly cautious, retreating into privacy whenever possible to protect herself from constant scrutiny. But even this deeply troubling story of media exploitation and sexual objectification was just one part of the challenges she faced. Behind the glitz and glamour, Agnetha was also grappling with deeply personal struggles, battles that would shape her life far beyond the stage. Although Agnetha rarely shared the intimate details of her personal struggles during her ABBA years, there is still quite a bit we know about the battles she faced trying to balance the demands of fame with her role as a mother. In a candid interview, she described the immense challenge of launching a career while simultaneously wanting to be fully present for her children. Touring, recording, and performing on a global stage often pulled her away from the family she cherished. Agnetha reflected on the heart-wrenching reality of leaving her children behind, confessing that she frequently went to bed with a pang of guilt, torn between the needs of her family and the demands of ABBA's skyrocketing success. The constant pressure to meet both responsibilities left her feeling stretched to the limit, struggling to find a balance that seemed increasingly unattainable. Her then-husband, Björn Ulvaeus, has also spoken openly about their shared challenges. He recounted one particularly emotional memory, returning from a tour to find that their young daughter barely recognized her own parents. For any parent, such an experience is a devastating blow, a stark reminder of the personal sacrifices fame can demand. And while discussing Agnetha and Björn, it's impossible to overlook the painful chapter of their divorce, another profound upheaval in both of their lives. The end of what appeared to be a happy partnership left a deep emotional scar. Though the reasons behind the split remain complex, there's no question that navigating life afterward was far from easy, especially for Agnetha. She has admitted that the breakup was so overwhelming it drove her to seek therapy. Her heartbreak was compounded when, within just a week of their separation, Björn had already moved on with a new partner, a reality that left Agnetha feeling intensely wounded and questioning the meaning of their once-beloved relationship. Amid this turbulent period, ABBA released The Winner Takes It All, a song that captured the raw pain of their split. Written by Björn, the track bore the weight of their crumbling marriage, yet Agnetha embraced performing it. She revealed that singing the song allowed her to channel the profound emotions she was experiencing, transforming personal anguish into a hauntingly powerful artistic expression. In interviews shortly after her divorce, Agnetha surprisingly described the separation as a happy divorce. But to most people, that sounded far from the truth, and their instincts were correct. Looking back years later in her 1997 memoir, As I Am, Agnetha admitted that calling the divorce happy had been nothing more than a facade. There was no such thing as a joyful split, especially when children were involved. The emotional wounds ran deep, and the pain lingered long after the legal papers were signed. What this really shows is that all of the sorrows, disappointments, public scrutiny, and personal betrayals Agnetha endured over the years had slowly built up. Her way of finding relief was through retreat, stepping away entirely from the people and pressures that had caused her so much hurt. Perhaps this withdrawal allowed her to reclaim a sense of peace, quiet, and calm that had been missing for most of her life. It makes you wonder, is this the hidden price of fame, a cost only someone like Agnetha had to pay? Despite everything, her legacy as one of the most beloved figures in pop music remains untarnished. Her voice continues to captivate generations, and her place in pop culture history is secured. But here's the question for you to think about. Was Agnetha's life just a series of unfortunate events, or was she truly exploited, underappreciated, and at times even manipulated by those around her? Did her fellow ABBA members consciously or unconsciously take advantage of her position in the media spotlight? Or was it simply circumstances beyond her control that left her vulnerable? What do you think about Agnetha's story? Does it feel like a cautionary tale of fame or something much more personal? Share your thoughts below. We'd love to hear your perspective.